This launch is about to absolutely wreck the gaming landscape and is genuinely concerning. The sheer hype surrounding GTA 6 is so massive that just dropping the launch date, price tag, and pre order info has set the whole market into excitement and panic. We have players that are forming divide over which version of the game people are going to buy. Fans are literally attacking each other over their spending habits, fiercely defending what looks like one of the greediest monetization tactics ever squeezed in a mainstream release. It's wild, especially considering the base game already carries a premium price tag of $80 and it's still not giving you the full content. The industry predictions were spot on. The base price for GTA officially took a jump while the hike wasn't quite as steep as some folks were bracing for. That's actually the lesser issue here. The real kicker is that massive chunks of the experience. We are talking about specific storefronts, core mechanics, and potentially even full missions are completely paywalled. If you want access to the whole game, you're forced to shell out an extra 1,500 rupees just to get past that paywall. It seems like we are reaching a point where they're openly dividing the player base by their wallets. It's not as simple as you cannot wear the same clothes as me. No, you can't even be in the same store as me now. In today's video, we're breaking down the impact from Grand Theft Auto 6. We're going to look at exactly how this launch is going to reshape the gaming industry for years to come, and I'm going to give you my honest take on this entire mess we are getting into. I can promise you right now, the rest of the industry is taking notes. They're going to copy this exact playbook, and as usual, we are the ones who are going to end up paying the price. This is the next chapter in franchise, whose previous entry dropped every 10 years ago. The last title went on to become an absolute juggernaut, pushing a staggering 230 million copies and constantly ranking among the top selling games year after year, even a decade later. The fact that Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive have kept completely quiet this entire time has only built up insane anticipation. It's driven speculation into pure madness. We got people counting cigarette butts and checking the oxygen level outside of Rockstar headquarters, trying to predict when the next trailer is going to come out. The release is making people lose their collective minds, and honestly, the gaming industry has also lost theirs. We have watched basically every major studio and publisher blindly fall in line behind Rockstar Studios. First, it was the copycat marketing with everyone suddenly slapping those neon Vice City aesthetics onto their campaigns. Then they started treating this single game like some kind of industry savior, banking all their hopes on the idea that it will magically inject players, cash, and momentum back into the struggling market. And now we have reached the final stage, finally embracing the narrative that if any company has the power to normalize $80 to $100 price tags for a video game, it's definitely Rockstar. It's gotten to a point where even Bank of America is tossing their 2 cents in, publicly arguing that it's actually in Take-Two's best interest, both as a mega publisher and a partner to other studios, to spearhead this massive price hike. And we all know exactly what that means. Absolutely nothing good for the actual players. Well, it looks like Rockstar heard them loud and clear. After years of endless waiting, they finally flipped the switch on GTA 6 pre-orders, locking in the price at 6,000 rupees for the base game and cranking it all the way up to 7,500 if you want the Ultimate Edition. And here's the absolute core of the issues. This isn't just about locking away cosmetic skins or promising future DLC down the road. As it stands right now, they are actively gating off shops, deep customization options, and actual playable missions behind that additional $20 paywall. Now, this has absolutely sparked a massive debate across the internet, and we are definitely going to break down that pricing structure in a minute. But look, to all fellow GTA fans, I'm incredibly hyped for GTA 6. I genuinely cannot wait to jump into this world, both as a content creator who is ready to cover every inch of it, and just as someone who has been deeply invested in these franchise for over 2 decades, going all the way back to GTA San Andreas. But that's exactly the point. You can be completely aesthetic about a game and still call out the corporate greed attached to it. Holding a franchise you love to a higher standard isn't about a hater, it's being an honest consumer. Fact is, calling out a franchise you love is usually how we end up with a better game for everyone. But that's not what's happening here. What I absolutely cannot stand, and what I'll never defend, is watching a bunch of corporate yes men online completely misrepresent why people are actually angry. They are downplaying the whole thing, treating 1500 rupees like it's some kind of status symbol to flash around. They are out here acting like this is just your standard run of the mill deluxe edition, running absolute defense for Rockstar and Take Two simply because they're blinded by excitement and their favorite franchise is finally returning. It is genuinely mind blowing. They opened up pre orders without showing a single second of actual gameplay footage, and yet there are people ready to go to war to defend a product they haven't even laid eyes on. Now, I completely agree that Rockstar has an unparalleled track record. BioWare, CD Projekt Red, Blizzard, Arcane, before their major missteps, every single one of them was considered untouchable by the fans. Trust should be earned not just by a good product, but also by maintaining transparency and by being consumer friendly. Now, the funny thing is, I'm more mad about this than I'm about the price right now. This game is actually cheaper than most deluxe edition out there. But Rockstar, this is reportedly a $1.5 to $2 billion game, maybe even more. And instead of creating more value for the people who are willing to spend extra, you created less value for everybody else. You didn't build anything new, you built barriers. And honestly, after all that time and all that money, this is absolutely pathetic. Instead of asking, how do we celebrate this massive launch with the fan base that got us here, the conversation in the boardroom was literally about deciding which doors players shouldn't be allowed to open unless they cough up extra 1500. And this is the crucial distinction that a lot of people are completely missing right now. This isn't Rockstar rewarding the players who are willing to spend more. This is Rockstar intentionally crippling the base game to create a lesser version for everyone who doesn't. If you're buying the Ultimate Edition, you aren't getting extra features. You are just buying the complete unbroken game. Everyone else is paying a premium price for the exact same world, just with a bunch of intentionally locked doors slammed right in their faces. Now listen guys, we aren't talking about some future DLC drops here. This isn't an expansion planned for 6 months down the line. These restricted areas are already baked right into the world on day one. You're going to literally see them sitting there on your map. You will drive right up to the curb, walk up to the front entrance, and the game is going to tell you that you aren't allowed inside, and that is their massive red flag that I feel like so many people are completely ignoring right now. Typically, if you skip a deluxe edition, it's simply because you cannot care about a couple of bonus outfits or digital extras. It's no big deal. A lot of us are perfectly content playing the standard base game and we just go about our day. But with this, the monetization is woven directly into the game. Every single time you cruise past one of those restricted storefronts or stumble on a location or story element you cannot interact with, every single time you hit a literal locked door, it is by design. It is the game constantly nudging you, deliberately reminding you that there is a more complete version of this experience that you haven't bought yet. And honestly, this sets a terrifying thinking. How are they going to handle the future DLC drops? This goes beyond simply locking you out of buildings. It's a calculated move to ensure you never forget that other players opened their wallets wider than you did. They're actively banking on that friction wearing you down until you finally cave and purchase the upgrade. It essentially transforms the entire game into one big advertisement on how you should spend that extra money. Honestly, designing a game to consistently weaponize that sense of missing out is one of the most psychologically manipulative monetization strategies we have seen injected into a mainstream AAA release in a very long time. In a twisted way, I almost have to hand it to them. From a purely marketing standpoint, this is an incredible creative level of toxicity and manipulation. They aren't just interrupting your gameplay with some obnoxious pop-up begging you to upgrade. It's not just an annoying button sitting on the main menu, at least not yet. Instead, they're literally weaving the upsell directly into your experience itself. If this becomes the new industry standard, just think about the terrifying ripple effect it's going to have on in-game design. Picture yourself deep into a massive RPG. You finally stumble upon this epic arena, but it's completely empty. Or the gates you just flat out blocked because you only hold the standard edition. You'll be looking out at entire city districts in the distance, fully rendered and sitting right there on your map, but you won't be able to actually cross the bridge to get there simply because you didn't pay the premium toll. It fundamentally breaks the core mechanic of exploration. I keep hearing this constant defense that it's optional. Well, sure, energy timers in mobile games are optional. Battle passes, loot boxes, premium skins, they are all technically optional. So is particularly every other predatory mechanic designed to bring extra cash out of your wallets. But that completely misses the core issue. The problem isn't whether you have to buy them, the problem is that the mere existence of these monetization systems fundamentally alters how the game is designed from the ground up. They always start out as just an option, but give it a few years, factor in millions of dollars in behavioral research, and these massive publishers inevitably start tweaking the experience to make those upgrades feel a whole lot less optional. And that slow boil, that subtle manipulation of the game design is exactly what we are watching unfold right now. I don't honestly get why people are trying to equate this to standard cosmetic microtransaction. Yes, skins and battle pass are annoying, but you can usually just ignore them. You click out of the store menu, you close the pop up, and you move on. This is entirely different. The paywall has literally manifested directly into the game world itself. Look, I know this won't stop everyone from pulling out their credit cards, but it is going to price some people out. 7,500 rupees is a massive ask for a lot of folks. And yes, while I'm in a position where I can afford it, and I've seen the polls showing that a huge chunk of the player base is going to grab the Ultimate Edition regardless, we still have a responsibility to call this garbage out. As a player and just as someone who deeply cares about this medium, I want this experience to be as accessible to as many people as possible. You shouldn't be constantly reminding of your real world bank account balance while trying to explore a digital one. Gaming is supposed to be our escape from all that stress. But every single time we let the industry get away with this kind of greed without putting up a fight, the harsh reality of the real world bleeds just a little bit further into our escape. Now, if Rockstar wasn't trying to be so predatory and manipulative, they would have given players the option to access these shops and locations but require payments only when players try to buy a specific item with real money. That way, players could at least explore those places and still have the choice. Right now, they are outright banning people from entering these areas altogether, which shows a much bigger and more worrying picture. Maybe we will see more DLCs like this in the future, where the base game is filled with locations you cannot even access. This will effectively force people to pay, otherwise, rendering the base game totally unenjoyable. This is basically how Netflix works. If you want to watch season 2 of a specific show, you have to pay or else you are barred from accessing it. This game design is basically subscription system and GTA 6 is the platform. Also, think about why Rockstar is giving away free GTA Plus subscription for a month for all the people who are pre-ordering the game. Now you must be saying, hey, just a kind gesture by Rockstar. Then you are way too naive. Back in 2000s, Xbox gave away free gold membership with every Xbox 360 and game to get people hooked, and it goes hand in hand with the console if you want full experience with the system. And that's the same thing with GTA 6 and GTA Plus. This is just my theory, but I'm 80% sure GTA 6 requires the subscription for full experience. Only time will reveal how far this goes. And that's all time I have for this video. If you watched the video this far, I thank all of you who stayed and listened. I would like to hear your point of view in the comment section as well. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.